Hello everybody, and welcome to the world of Slime Rancher 2. In this video, I'm going to give you some basic tips to help you get started in the world of Slime Rancher. Alright, so when you first get started, this is where you will spawn in the observatory here. If you actually press the middle button on the PlayStation, not sure what it is on the console, on the Xbox, it will bring up your map. This is really good to know early on, as if you zoom in here, you can actually go through and see basically these squares on the map indicate total plots that you have. Plots where you can go through and build different components. And this is going to be a lot of where you spend your time in the early game. You basically will constantly come back here. You're going to explore, find new things, come back here, plant them, find new slimes, come back here. You will always be coming back here through teleporters or adventuring and just other means. And so all of these areas you actually have to go through and buy and unlock. So if we were to just walk out this door here, for example, and head on over here, let's suck this guy up real quick. You'll notice that it says activate, but there's a red barrier. So you activate it, and it will tell you what it's called and how many plots are there. So that is good to know because you want to go through and eventually expand your base. And then one other thing worth noting here before we leave the base here is this here. This is the plort market. So basically what happens is you're going to acquire plorts, which I will get into in just a moment, and you will then sell them for currency, which is called newbucks here in the game. And of course there are monetary values associated with each plort, and some are worth more, some are worth less, and as you sell them, this value will go up and it will go down. And these plorts all come from the different slimes that are in the game. So for example, the very most basic one here, the pink one in the top corner, you will notice that we got this little fella right here. And so we can just, let's see, shoot him in there. And we'll throw that chicken in there to grow later. Alright, so speaking of this, this is a pre-built. You have one corral at the very beginning of this pre-built. But if we walk on over here, you activate, you'll see you can build either another corral. You can go through and build yourself a garden, a coop for chickens, which you don't need immediately early on, a silo, which is basically just extra storage, an incinerator, and pond. Those are meant for two specific types of slimes and a few other purposes. In the beginning, the primary two things you're going to want is corrals and the upgrades for it, and gardens and the upgrades for it. Alright, so now let's go ahead on out of here. We will come back to this. It's just not activated yet, but you will get phone calls here and it's important to check this area. Also, when it does get late at night, if you want to sleep, you can just activate this and you can actually go through and sleep for a certain duration, which will pass time in the world, which can make things happen. So items in the world can respawn, slime spawns can reset, and if you have garden, crops will grow. Alright, so let's head on here at the very beginning. All the content that we cover here will specifically just be in the first area for the purpose of avoiding spoilers. Now when you first get out here, the very first slime you will find is pink ones, and then you will find some vegetables, which are carrots. So we're going to gather all the carrots up. And then we're also going to look for these fruits, the pogo fruits here. Now, when you look at a slime, it's going to tell you its diet. It says fruit, veggies, and meat. And then you can also press up for the Slimepedia here. This is actually the fruit. Let me go over to the slimes. So once you have basically identified one, it will tell you everything that it eats. And this guy eats literally everything. So they're pretty easy to maintain, and they're the best slime in the early game because they will literally eat anything you find. Let's grab all these vegetables here. Now, you can either suck them up and you can take them back to your base. But what we're actually going to do now is we're going to feed them now. So I'm going to go through and shoot a carrot at these fellas. So let's see if I can get some over here. I just want them to spit out plort. So basically what happens is they eat the food and the poop. And they poop out plort. So basically we're selling their poop for money. Alright, well let's head on over here and see. Okay, now these are the next slime we're going to encounter, which are cotton slimes. I'm actually going to shoot these guys out and we're going to suck the cotton slimes up instead. And I will show you why when we get back to the base here. We want some more carrots as well. And I think there is one more patch of carrots somewhere right over here. Now, looking at the cotton slimes here, you will notice that they eat only veggies. And again, if you go up on here, you can look at them and look for more details about them here. And their favorite food is water lettuce. What a favorite food does, if you give them their favorite food, they will actually spit out 2 plorts. So usually if you just feed them one, come on, let me see. You want to eat that veggie? Here, I'm going to shoot it at your face. There you go. They will actually just spit out 1 plort, but if you go through and feed them their favorite food, they will actually spit out 2 plorts. Now, something else to look for too, specifically on edges like this, there's a lot of paths that are actually hidden at first, and you won't know where they go or what to do. But always be looking up and down because there's a lot of hidden locations. So there's little cracks like this you can jump over. This water is bad though. Water will actually kill you immediately and you will lose every single thing in your inventory, and you also get sent back to your base and it will take hours for you to respawn. which will affect the slimes and their happiness, which I will talk about in just a moment. But you can jump these gaps. Later on, you'll actually have a jetpack, which will make this jump significantly easier. But just be cautious of falling in the water here. And then you do have a health and a stam mechanic. But this is actually why you want to be looking for alternative paths, is they will usually hide hidden locations, entirely new areas, or treasure. Now you can activate these pods here, and this is a pretty basic pod. Once it opens up, and it's actually going to go through and give you a blueprint, which you can again find in your Slimepedia here. You could find pretty much everything you need to know about the game in your Slimepedia. Now, if you look at the map here again, if you actually zoom out, you'll be able to see all of the different treasures you found in each specific area. Now, you will notice that in the map we currently are in, there is a fog of war. We can't really see, I call it a fog of war, but there's a fog. And you can't really see it. And then these things here are treasure chests, and there is this fruit here in this carrot. I don't actually plan on growing this fruit yet, so I'm going to leave that there for now. And yeah, this here is a dead end. So let's move on back here and not lose everything. That would be bad. And let me show you how you uncover the map here. Now, when you're out of stam, you want to wait to jump, or that's a good chance if you run out of stam mid-jump, you will fall and lose all your stuff. There is water over here coming out of here. You need an upgrade to be able to access this, so we can't actually use that now, but it's primarily used to go through and, well, there's a couple of different things you'll use it for in the game, but one of them is to defend yourself against the bad slimes, which are the Tarr slimes. So the way that slimes work, you'll see this guy here, this big fella. So each slime starts out as just like a baby slime. If you feed a slime a different type of plort, so this guy here, they will grow into what's called a largo slime. Now, if this guy was to eat a different plort that is not a pink plort or a cotton plort, which is these guys are the cotton slimes, he will become a Tarr slime, which is an aggressive slime that will eat every other slime nearby, as well as attack the player. So you actually do not want to do that. That could be bad unless you're purposely trying to get air in a specific area to get rid of all the slimes. Do not make Tarr slimes. They are bad. They are very bad. And this thing right here. So this is actually what you need. These little smiley faces will uncover the map. So if you activate it, you will see that it has now revealed part of the map for me. The map data has been acquired. Now, there is one more thing I want to show you. This is a refinery link. So currently, if you go to shoot something in here, it will bounce off. You actually have to head back to the base to discover what this is. But basically what it is, you can actually shoot resources into this link, and it will put it into a storage system, which you can use to buy upgrades later on. Well, here is another section of the first part of the map, which we will definitely be needing. All right, and there is that section uncovered. And you can actually see the refinery link here on the map, which is something to note as well. Now, these blue guys popped out here. These are phosphorus slimes. They will only eat fruit, but they are difficult to manage early on, as they will actually get destroyed if they are in the sunlight, and they can fly, meaning they are hard to actually keep in a corral, at least early on. So we are going to avoid actually grabbing those guys. But what we are going to do is we are going to head over here. This specific fruit here, is that a tabby slime? Yes, it is. We actually want him. So we're going to get this fella here, and we're going to keep him. These fruits, the cube berries, are actually their favorite food, so that's just something to make a note of, but we're not going to grab those for now. We just wanted the tabby slimes. And now there is one more thing we are on the lookout for, and let's see if we can find it. Now here's this fella. So this is a pink gordo slime. So basically these guys are huge, and they will eat everything that their smaller counterparts will, but you want to go through and feed them because they will actually unlock specific things. They basically usually will unlock specific hidden paths, and the pink guys, like I mentioned, will eat anything. So this will actually take 30 total food, which is quite a bit, which is why you saw me stocking up on all the carrots earlier. So basically, when you feed them 30, they will actually go through and pop, and then they will typically spew out a bunch of what their little slimes are. They basically fuse together, and then usually there's some sort of treasure associated with it. So we're going to grab that, and in here you'll find there's a rooster, so we'll suck him up just to add him to the Slimepedia. But that's pretty much it. But now you'll notice there is water that will shoot out, which will allow us to go through and further advance into our story here. And then you can actually go through and unlock this. And this will be essentially this is what unlocks the next area. We're not going to go there, but that's good to know. Now, the only thing that I am missing here that I was trying to find was actually one more vegetable. This is a bad area, this side here. Don't go there. If you do, there are feral slimes that will try to eat you. So you need to be cautious of that. But it is good to look out for little areas like this on the side, like I mentioned earlier, because they will often have little treasure there with it. This is what we're looking for, the water lettuce. All right, so let's make our way back here to the actual base, I will let you guys know as soon as we are back. Alright, we are back out at the ranch here. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to go through and I'm going to put the cotton slimes here in this little area here. And we're just going to fill it up. Perfect. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to build a second corral. And actually, we'll take the pink guy out of here. Probably could have just built the other corral for the fellas here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and feed 3 of these to these fellas for some money. And we're going to keep the last one so we can actually put it into a garden and start to get that ASAP. Suck up this plort here and, whoops, sorry little fella. And this one here and that one there. And let's head on over to the station here, and we're going to, you can see that the pink is worth 10 and this is actually worth 32. So we're going to go through and sell all of the pink ones here. And now coming over here, we're actually going to go through and activate a garden. Now you can go through and put whatever you want in this garden. Now you can put carrots in here if you want early on. However, I went straight for the water lettuce because I know it's going to create twice as many plorts because it's their favorite food. And so we're going to go through and shoot that in here, and it will start to grow it. If you put the wrong food in here, or if you want to change it out later, you do not have to demolish a plot. That costs 350 to demolish it. If you go all the way over to the right, you can remove the crop in here for 50. So it's significantly easier to do that. I just waited off till I had the one that I wanted. Now, the reason I'm holding off on these tabby slimes is because these walls are actually pretty small, and if I fuse these guys together, they'll just jump right over. So I want to wait until my walls are higher before I can actually do this. Now, I truly believe this is going to be the best combination is the cotton slimes combined with the tabby slimes early on, because the tabby slimes give you more than the pink guys do, and we actually have their favorite food. So when we feed them their favorite food when they're fused together, they're going to give us 1 cotton plort and 1 tabby plort. But as you can see, they get quite rambunctious, especially when you have too many in here. So currently, we're actually going to go to bed. We're going to sleep until it's morning time. Oh, I slept till night. That is not what I meant to do. That is okay. I'm kind of curious to see what happened to our fellas. Yeah, see, look, when you sleep too long or you're gone too long, they get real mad and angry because they're hungry. But the garden should be finished. It sure is. So that's actually great. So what we're going to go through and do is get all of these things here. And we'll get this here. Now I'm actually going to show you what happens when you fuse them all together and how you make a whole bunch of money. So now that we're back in here, we're going to go through and build the high walls. Whoops. So this will typically happen if you have too many in here at once. So I might actually take some of them out. But we don't want them to hop into the other pens. Otherwise they get super mad and aggravated. So now here's what's going to happen. We're going to feed them these. And we're going to have this tabby slime actually eat this plort, so he gets fused together. And that's what he looks like. Now what we want him to do is we want him to eat the food, which should create 1... Yep, so he actually got a whole bunch. He actually made 3 for us this time. So we're going to have everybody else eat that, and they're all going to become bigger. And then when we feed these bigger guys, basically it's just going to make us more money, and it's going to make everybody else bigger. I think I will take some of them out, though. I don't want that many in there. Otherwise, they will definitely get out. So if you have a slime you don't want, what you're going to want to do is you could typically just send them flying. And I know that sounds bad, but let me show you here. So let's say we have this cotton guy that we don't want. And let's say we don't want this cotton guy either. Oops, the largo can stay in there. You can just suck up the slimes you don't want. And you can actually just head on over to the cliff here and shoot them off the cliff into the water. No, we did not just murder them. All slimes come from the sea, so at some point in time they will reappear somewhere else in life. They are okay, don't worry. The next upgrades you'll typically want to buy here is either going to be the music box, will actually calm them down so they're not jumping all the time, or an air net. I think that's typically the better way to go, as if they do accidentally jump too high, it will actually take a couple of hits before they can actually break out of here, which we don't currently have enough of. But yeah, so this is what you're going to want to do, is just go through and start your corrals here. This is going to be the best combination hands down early on, because the tabbies have to just eat meat, whereas this guy can eat his favorite food. He'll give you extra money. The pink ones aren't worth as much, and then the phosphorus slimes, you actually have to go through and build the air net so they can't jump out, and you have to build the solar shield in order to maintain them, or you have to go through and build in this cave-like area here. So they are hard to maintain early, so this is hands down the best combination. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this beginner's guide video to get started in Slime Rancher 2. If you did, then consider leaving a like and subscribing if you're not already.